Are you ready to make the leap from manager to director, but you're not sure how to position that in your resume? In this video, I'm going to show you how to highlight that you're ready to up-level into that director level role. If you haven't subscribed yet, then why not? Hit the subscribe button down below and then ring the bell so that you're notified every time I post a new video. My name is Ryan Stoltzfus, and I'm the founder of the Job Hackers Network. I help tech leaders to stand out by executing a strategic job search that's focused on networking directly with hiring leaders. First, let's discuss the high-level differences between managers and directors. The first one we're going to focus in on is the activities that managers and directors really focus in on. Managers are focused on executing plans. Directors are focused on the activities that shape strategy. For example, a manager is going to focus way more on their team objectives, whereas a director is going to focus on the objectives that help to align an organization, multiple teams, with the vision of the organization as a whole. The next activity, number 2, is going to be impact and influence, and the different ways in which a manager and a director approaches this. Managers are going to be setting the stage for their teams, while directors are going to have a broader organizational impact. And for those directors, they're going to be influencing cross-functional decisions. The third one in regards to these activities is leadership and vision. Managers are going to directly lead their teams. That's where they're providing the vision to the people on their teams. While directors are going to lead other leaders, and they're also going to be focusing on influencing up that impact they make up the chain across the organization. So what do all these things have in common? What's the connecting thread here? Managers are focused on their teams, while directors are focused on the broader organization. Hey, if this is helping you, hit that like button down below and then comment on this question. How are you showing up as a director? Comment down below. So now we're going to look at 4 key resume differences between managers and directors that aligns with the components, the activities that we've talked about above. So the first one we're going to go into is in regards to activities. Managers are going to be focusing on highlighting tactical team delivery. They're looking at things like the improvement of KPIs, key performance indicators, things of that nature. Directors, on the other hand, are going to be looking at strategic delivery, strategic initiatives. They're talking about how they developed this, that, and the other, ultimately to move forward company initiatives. This is oftentimes going to result in company-wide growth and get them close to that revenue growth as well. So let's look at examples for a manager and for a director and compare these two as regards to the activities. So first, let's go into the example for a manager. Improved team efficiency by implementing workflow optimizations, increasing project delivery speed by 20% in 6 months. Let's look at an example for a director. Designed and executed a strategic plan to streamline cross-department workflows, reducing company-wide project delivery timelines by 30% in 6 months. Both of these things are looking at project delivery, but they're looking at it from that different scope. The manager looking at it from a team level, and the director looking at it from an organization-wide level. Quick tip here. If you're a manager trying to represent yourself as that ready for director level candidate, you've got to look for where the initiatives allowed you to look beyond your team and where you were able to affect the broader scope. And that's the stuff that needs to make it to your resume. So let's dive right into number 2, which is metrics and scope. Directors are going to look at that broader team, that larger team. They are going to have a larger scope. They might even have P&L ownership, but they're looking at how the scope affected the broader organization, whereas the scope for a manager is, again, usually focused in on key performance indicators for their team. One other key difference in regards to metrics is that directors are often also going to be able to connect what they did to the driving of revenue. Let's look at 2 examples of this in regards to metrics and scope for the manager versus director. The first example for manager is oversaw a team of 12 engineers to complete 25 plus client projects annually, achieving a 90% client satisfaction score. Let's look at an example for a director. led company-wide initiatives spanning 10 global locations, driving a $10 million reduction in operational costs through process standardization. The third component that we're diving into for the resume is leadership highlights. Directors are going to tend to show two sides of the leadership tape: mentorship, guiding, influencing. Influencing is a huge one. Influencing who? Influencing other leaders, other departments, influencing C-suite, but they're going to focus in on the people part, the leadership component, very effectively on their resume. Let's look at two examples for the manager and for the director and see the differences. All right, first, the example for a manager. Fostered a collaborative team culture by implementing weekly feedback sessions, boosting employee engagement scores by 15%. It's just focused on the team, right? They're not getting broader. So let's look at that broader example from a director level. Partnered with C-suite executives to define and execute a company-wide DEI strategy, increasing diverse leadership representation by 30%. The fourth one that we're looking at here for the resume is the strategic focus versus the tactical focus. When we're looking at skills, directors are going to tend to highlight skills that are focused on that higher level strategy, strategic planning. Let's look at some examples of this and see how the director is setting themselves up into the higher hemisphere while a manager is staying in the tactical area. Let's look at how it plays out in the technical expertise that a manager is typically going to show for themselves. So this would be a typical resume section for technical expertise for a manager. They're going to say things like team leadership and mentorship. Hey, that's about people, that's good, but it's about the team. Workflow optimization and process improvement, performance metrics analysis and reporting, project planning and execution. Now let's look at the director in more of a strategic focus, what their strategic focus skills section would look like. First one that we have here is organizational strategic planning, P&L ownership, and revenue growth strategies, affecting revenue, affecting the whole, truly owning that P&L, that profit and loss statement or budget. Board engagement and stakeholder influence, so managing up, influencing up at a higher level than that director level as well, and cross-functional and multi-department leadership. So what you have here for the director is that broader vision, that organizational focus, doing more outside of the spans, the rigid spans of an individual's role, but influencing the organization towards change, towards impact, towards revenue growth. Now here's the thing. You can show some of this as a manager on your manager level resume where you're trying to go for a director level, but you have to think broader than the delivery. You have to take yourself beyond KPIs over to how those KPIs then affected revenue. How you took that project execution, which is amazing, and then took that expertise to the next team, to the broader organization. And if you're not doing that yet, then you need to start. If you want some help unleashing your career, I've got a training that I've set up for you, so watch this next clip.
Are you ready to start or optimize your job search process? Do you feel stuck and need help connecting the dots? Join this free web class where you'll learn the step-by-step formula to control your career progression. We've helped hundreds of experienced engineering and operations leaders just like you to build their brand and grow their impact. Register for this exclusive training today to step into the driver's seat of your career.
Lastly, let's talk about some common mistakes that people make and that you can avoid when you're trying to look like you are director ready. Number one, focusing too much on day-to-day tasks and not focusing enough on the strategic contribution. Number two, falling into the trap of overloading your resume with technical skills rather than leadership capabilities. Number three, undervaluing those important soft skills like stakeholder influence and one of the most important ones, communication. Communication is often undervalued, but there is a huge difference between an individual who truly is able to communicate a message effectively. This is the one that I see actually underemphasized the most. Hey, I know that updating your resume can be a huge pain in the ass, and I want to help with that. So what I've done is I've created a professional resume template that you can have direct access to. Pop down into the description below. You're going to find a link to my professional resume template. And this template is designed to help you sell yourself more effectively at that director level, right? To build out your stories. And just like I have in this presentation, I'm going to be showing you additional bullets that are examples of great storytelling. You've got to have a designed path in your resume. You are responsible for your brand. We can't leave things up to chance. Now be sure to check out these two videos next. Both of them are about that up-leveling of your director level resume. So grab these two videos next as your next action, and I will see you on the next video.